Hi, I'm Jeff Byers, your instructor for this course. This is Annie 258, Game Level Design, and we are on Module 3. Alright, so when this loads up, you can see that in Module 3, our objectives are to continue building our Mayan architecture for our game level that we created. We started a couple modules ago. And we are continuing with building all of the modular buildings, the rest of the buildings. You should have your main temple completed. And now we're building the other buildings, the rest of the buildings. I think there's like 5 or 6 more. Basically, you're building around the BSP prototype. And then when you build it, you delete the BSP prototype, and you should have kind of a shell, meaning a building, and you should have an inside and an outside. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to create that, and also you're going to be creating some other things like foliage and rocks and trees. And you can watch these videos here. These will help you get started with painting foliage, which is a really nice a tool that comes with Unreal. And you'll need to get some assets from the marketplace, so make sure you do that. So go on the marketplace and get some trees and some grass so you can have those loaded in. And there's another video on the actual editor, and then there's a video on how to add wind to your grass so it'll move and look like it's being blown around in the wind. And then we've got a water material that you can add to your level too as well. So there's some elements in here we got to get finished. And of course, here's a really cool speed level design that is really well done. Watch that, it's really neat. And of course, refresh videos on how to bring in PBR textures and place them into the Unreal Engine. And then of course, if you need a refresher on how to use Substance Painter, that's there for you as well. The assignments, we'll just read that. Student will continue working on the Mayan game level, like we just said earlier. The students will continue building Mayan architecture using original custom modular assets. Now you can do that, and or on top of that, of course, use static meshes from the Unreal Marketplace. That's fine. The student will replace the BSP prototyping with custom modular assets and delete the BSPs. The student will add foliage, basically trees and bushes and flowers, and then you will use other assets that you find on the Unreal Marketplace to set dress, or use your own modular pieces or assets that you created. And you're going to set dress the entire level so that it looks lived in and interesting to play. The students added heavier grass coverage along the pathways and added less grass in the fields. So basically right along the paths, you want to be heavier with the grass, and then you want to be lighter as you paint the grass into the fields, because otherwise you're going to really slow down your computer and have it probably crash. So use a few trees. I know this is supposed to be a forest, but again, be careful with the trees. More trees around the pathways than in the center or in open areas, okay? The student will add natural and man-made cover in a strategic way. We've talked about cover before, so I think you understand that. The students' buildings were built from static meshes. Yes, you have to have static meshes for the buildings. The buildings closely represent the references used. Of course, you're using your references that you had in your mood boards, so use those. The students will create a realistic water material and apply it to their water plane. So that water plane can be several of those, or one big one, and just drop it down into your game level and get it all figured out. The buildings should show solid construction and are hollow and have at least one entrance. So your buildings, you got to be able to walk into your buildings, okay? So if you can't walk into your buildings, they're not set up right. The buildings are appealing, and the textures on the buildings reflect the references used. The buildings are set dressed and interesting to navigate. Unfortunately, there's a part in here that we just can't do. play each other's levels. Some of your levels are going to be just huge and take a huge amount of RAM, and it's just not enough hard drive space to even share and show each other's work. Now, what I'd like to be able to do eventually is to maybe have a way to record you playing your level, but we're not going to ask you to do that this time. It's just going to be screenshots, so it's going to keep that set pretty low key right now. Grading rubric, set dressing, make sure you read all this. The student, basically you're going to be turning in 20 screenshots showcasing your set dressing skills, okay? And you can read all that. Make sure you read the grading rubrics and what I'm expecting. So set dressing, you got to have your cover. You've got to have set dressed interior and exterior. So your foliage, your rocks, your trees. Make sure you get all that into the scene. More grass along the pathways, and then in open fields and open areas, make sure you keep it pretty sparse. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult. And you add as you go along. So when you get everything in there, just do a little bit at a time. Maybe just do the pathways first with the grass along the pathways, and then start adding more and more and more. Do the trees at the very, very last. And when you add grass, you need to start rendering, meaning you want to build all of your textures and build all your lighting and all that stuff. You're not going to be doing lighting in this particular module. That's going to be module 4, but you are going to have some lighting in, at least get started. So there's a lot of work to do. Okay, so we got to have all of the set dressing completely done, okay, in this module. Okay, so set dressing done, and the Maya and the building of the building Mayan buildings, that has to be completely done. Okay. So we're going to have a lot of screenshots, a ton of screenshots, okay? So deliverables, we'll go through this. The student will take a perspective screenshot of every Mayan building, front perspective and back perspective of every building. There's 6, so you should have 12 screenshots in total. The students will take a minimum of 20 outdoor screenshots of the pathways, foliage, trees, rocks, blah, 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 and, and make sure they're composed well and free of errors. I'm going to give you some examples just in a minute. The student will take screenshots of every corner of the game level, okay, from far away, and the students will take 2 screenshots of opposite corners inside each building. Okay, so opposite corners of each building, make sure you can get some screenshots, and of course you'll have 12 screenshots total. So you can see there's a lot there. Alright, so if I go in here and look at what we have. Alright, so this student sent hers in, and this is Jessie Cullison, and that's her, looks like her torch, and she's got a plank here, and she did a couple extra things. So those are her extra credit, and you guys can get extra credit too as well, 5 points each, extra credit, and they have to look nice. I need a top view. Okay, I didn't put that in there. I'll do that shortly. That's one thing I missed. I want a top view just like that. And basically what you're going to do is you're not going to have lighting on. So it's going to be basically unlit and a top view. So you'll make sure you set that up. Remember, hit the G key so I don't see all this the icons, okay? You can see that along the pathways she's got more grass, more trees, and then open areas there's a lot less, okay? So you really need to really focus along the pathways and having grass and rocks and all that stuff, okay? That's really important. Here's a corner, okay? So you can see that she's got her bridges, her 2 bridges, so they're in there. And you can see we got the 4 corners. They may not be in order, but you get the idea. And she's got some nice water too as well. You can see the water looks really nice. And we're almost done. The only thing that is left to do is basically lighting, and then we need to add the firelight and the torches, and just kind of have this to be darker. So we're going to need to lower the lights in a module 4. And the other thing is we need to add all the mechanics. So we've got basically we have a jump pad we got to create, and then a couple portals. So those are the mechanics that we're going to have. Okay. So we'll continue showing some inside pieces. Now she started her lighting already, and that's okay. You guys can start your lighting. I need to be able to see in your inside of your building, so make sure you have enough lighting for me to see inside. And then there's a mixture of outside and inside, so don't let that fool you. She's got a bunch of buildings on the inside. Basically what she's doing is showing me all the buildings, and then she's going to get to showing the insides as well. And I'm getting a good sense of the outside too as well, what she's got going on here with the grass and everything else like that. So not only the inside but the outside. So I need all those screenshots. The more screenshots you can give me, the better. Okay, the more screenshots you can give me, the better. I can grade you and give you. The more stuff you give me, it makes me happy. And you want to have a happy instructor. So happy instructor, that's a good thing. Okay, so see, these are kind of shots that really help me understand your level, what it looks like and what she's done, and she's done a great job. And this looks really nice. That's really nice. I'm not crazy about the rock texture. I think I kind of talked to her about that. But everything else looks really nice. I think she set dressed this really, really nice. It's not too cluttered, but it looks lived in. I like that. It's got rocks in here, lots of different plants. It's really fun. So she really did a nice job. Yep, looks good. We got the bridges in there. She's giving me lots of screenshots for me to look at. The water looks really good too. I'm really happy with the water. The tutorial's got a really nice water material too as well. I'm not sure where she got her material. She might have found it at the marketplace. Anyway, you guys can use anything from the marketplace, anything you want. So just remember that. You can see all the other. So she's got a lot of screenshots. She's got way more than I asked for, and that's really good. And I wanted to show you why it's so important to show off your stuff, and that is it. So basically, just continue. The folder structure is kind of like we always do. Again, the only thing I'm going to add in here is the top view, so I'll get that in there. But other than that, everything is ready to go. We've got the water. We've got all these other refresher things. And whatever you'd like to add on top of what I'm asking for, feel free. You don't have to do it in this module, but the module 4 is the finished one. So all right, good luck, and let me know if you have any questions, and I'll answer them as fast as I can. I'm looking at emails like every hour on the hour, and so please send me a message, jbyers3@jcc.edu, and I hope you guys are all staying healthy and well. And we're almost through this thing. Hopefully that it looks like the curve. I think we're almost at the peak of the curve. So you just stay inside and stay safe. Okay, I'll see you in Module 4.